Hey guys, welcome to the first episode of the Always Football Podcast. I'm your host Cameron, and alongside me is my co-host and my good friend Alex. Alex, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, man. I'm really excited to get this going.
Yeah, no, man, for sure. We've talked about this for a while. Definitely been something that has been a big discussion. We've worked together with sports media for a good bit now, well over a year. So
Yeah, I mean, almost, yeah, literally
yeah, during quarantine is when it started. So
whole year. I
yeah,
mean,
definitely a good partnership. So we're excited to get this rolling. Want to bring you NFL news, updates, debates, and picks throughout the season. But I know we're going to start it off today with our picks for the division winners. So I'm going to start it off talking about the NFC North. I don't think there's any doubt. You got a man that won MVP last year alongside one of the top tier wide receivers in the league. Aaron Jones is back. You know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the Packers. I really don't see there being any debate for them being division winners back to back.
yeah, I totally agree with you. I don't think there's anybody in that division that challenges them. The Bears are a work in progress. They just drafted Justin Fields, but he's not going to start week 1. You have Andy Dalton probably starting. Lions, you got the new head coach, but I don't see them making a push for the division title in the first year. And then the Vikings are kind of a mess of a franchise right now. It's there's so many missing pieces, and it just seems like it never all comes together. So, yeah, locked in
Yeah,
for
no doubt. Yeah, I think if anybody even can compete, it's going to be the Vikings. I know you said they are a mess of a franchise, but I think just that Kirk Cousins and Justin Jefferson duo, I mean, it's definitely enough to power that team if we can see a good season out of Dalvin Cook. Maybe some bit of competition, but I don't really see it. I think the Packers got that on lock.
yeah,
Moving on, NFC South. I'll let you start this one off. Who you got for the NFC South, Alex?
yeah. It's gotta be the reigning Super Bowl champions, man. The Bucks. As a Falcons fan, it hurts, man, but yeah, you just can't. You're not stopping that team. That defense is so young, so talented, and then the offense led by Tom Brady, man. There's nothing you could do about that. There's just yeah, they're a lock. They're a lock for the winning of that division.
No, for sure. I mean, like as you said, as a Falcons fan, I think you know more than anybody. There's really just no competition in that division right now. Um, the Falcons are definitely entering their rebuild stage very soon, if not now. The Panthers, under Sam Darnold, maybe, but I don't see it happening. The only person I think could fight back right there is the Saints, but you're bringing in a new quarterback, Jameis Winston. It's not like you have some top tier guy like Drew Brees anymore. So yeah, I mean the Bucks, they re-signed all their guys. They kept that same team that won a Super Bowl. I see no reason for them to decline at all.
And they got
If
better.
anything, they should do better. I mean,
They
they've
got
worked as a team for this long. So yeah, no, I think yeah, Bucks got that for sure. NFC South on lock. Um, Moving on to the next division, I think this is one of the better ones to debate. One of the ones that I don't think are considered a lock. I got the NFC East. I'm going to start this off. Um, Not something I'm proud of saying, obviously. Most memed on franchise, but I am a huge Dallas Cowboys fan. Um, and when it comes to this division, really, I think it's an anybody can win situation, and I have to go with my Cowboys. I mean, you look at a team that went 6-10, completely injured, and was fighting for that division title at the end of the year. The O line's back. The defense, it's a little iffy. You got Dan Quinn back there as defensive coordinator, and some new young guys um, looking to make some kind of big power move throughout the season. But I think the story is definitely going to be Dak Prescott coming back, and I think that's just enough by itself, just to help this team make a playoff push. Um, Definitely looking for a bounce back year for Ezekiel Elliott, and that receiving core did not get weaker. Um, in my opinion, it should be. It definitely will be a fight, but I think the Cowboys should got that.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, Cameron. The division is open ended. Uh, Last year you had all the teams literally fighting for that playoff spot, but I'm gonna go with the Washington football team as my pick for NFC East. That defense is convincing enough for me to pick them. They made the playoffs last year, and they put together probably the best game that we saw against the Super Bowl champion Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Uh, and really, they are the only team to me that significantly got better in that division. Like you improved the quarterback position. You got Ryan Fitzpatrick. You could say what you want about him being so old and him being a journeyman, whatever, but he makes every team he goes to some magic happens. So and I don't think the Cowboys are in a spot right now to take that division. I think their defense is too rugged in every spot. Dak Prescott is a fantastic quarterback. That offense is lethal, but the defense is what holds them back. The Eagles are just a mess. You're starting Jalen Hurts probably week one. The defense is old, depleted, and then the Giants. They got a nice defense, but that offense is just it doesn't hold its own. They improved, but I don't think nearly as much as they should have. So yeah, I'm taking Washington for the NFC East.
Yeah, I can definitely see that happening. When I say it's a competition, I really think it is only out of Dallas and Washington. I'm hearing a lot of things about the Giants possibly making a push, but I think with Daniel Jones and the quarterback, you're really going to struggle to make that push. And obviously, I agree with you. The Eagles are right now in a mess of a franchise. You got a QB battle out of Jalen Hurts and Gardner Minshew. That's not the ideal QB battle
Yeah,
for your, number one guy. So, yeah, no, I definitely agree. I think if anybody's going to beat the Cowboys, it's going to be the football team.
yeah,
Um, but I just don't see it, Alex. I just don't. But
yeah.
I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying. Um, and I guess I'll just have to live with it. I can't change your opinion. So let's go ahead. We'll move on to the NFC West. Alex, I'll let you start off for
Yeah.
us.
So this division is another very competitive division, but for the right reasons. They're all very good teams. The Cardinals, the Rams, the Niners, the Seahawks. Any team in that division could take the division, and you're likely taking three of these teams are likely going to the playoffs. So, but my pick for the division winner is going to be the Rams. You brought in Stafford. You invested a lot. I mean, what they trade like 3 first-round picks, Jared
Yeah.
Goff, whatever. I mean, that's a huge haul they gave up for that quarterback. They knew that was their weakest point, and I think him alone, that defense. I mean, that defense is you can't argue with that defense. Aaron Donald makes literally everybody look good on that defensive line. You got Jalen Ramsey and a bunch of nice complementary secondary players around him. Um, and that wide receiver core for Stafford, I mean that team is fantastic. The only downside is probably that running back spot because they lost Cam Akers earlier this offseason to the ACL tear. But yeah, overall, I think they're the strongest team out of the bunch, and I think they're going to be our division winners.
Yeah, no, I can for sure see that, Alex. So what we did before the show is we did discuss who we had for our division winners.
Yeah.
And I agreed that the Rams got it, but you talked about this. It's a very tough division. You look at that Cardinals team. You got Kyler Murray, you got DeAndre Hopkins, J.J. Watt, Chandler Jones, bunch of superstars. I'm not picking them though. You got the Seahawks. Russell Wilson, killer. DK Metcalf, what a man to throw to. Chris Carson, great if he can stay healthy. And that defense, it's there. If Jamal Adams can make some plays, make a little bit of a comeback season, he'll have a good season. I think the Seahawks can be good. I'm not picking them either. I had the Rams originally, but I'm going to change it here. I'm going to go with the 49ers. I think, first of all, you have a really good defense when you talk about San Francisco. You
Yeah.
got Nick Bosa. You got Fred Warner. I mean, I think that's two superstars by themselves that can definitely make a huge impact. But I think the story of the season is going to be that QB battle. but I don't see it as a battle. I think Jimmy Garoppolo has gotten a lot of hate out of nowhere when he was praised about 2 years ago for getting considered a top 15 guy. Some people putting him even top 10. This man's all of a sudden getting all this hate and getting told you don't deserve to start. People forgetting this man was in the Super Bowl. What was it, 2 years ago? I mean, he's not a bad quarterback. And now he's getting told, hey, we had the third overall pick. We picked a quarterback that could possibly start over you. He's got a little bit of fire, like something lighting his fire inside of him. I think Jimmy Garoppolo is going to go off here. And I think that's definitely can be a huge factor in who's going to win this division. You got Matthew Stafford in a new system for the first time since 2009 when he was drafted by the Lions. Jimmy Garoppolo is ready. I'm going to go with the 49ers here. I'm changing that up. I think 49ers got this.
Yeah, that's certainly a fair pick there. I mean, yeah, like I said before, it's anybody's division. And I think honestly, three of those teams, like I said before, are going to go to the playoffs. So, division winner is really for bragging rights, but I think you got three playoff teams there anyway. So,
Yeah, no, I agree. Moving on. So we talked about the NFC, so we're going to go ahead and move on to the AFC. Like we did in the NFC, we're going to start with the AFC North. And I'm going to start with my pick. We saw a really good division last season. The Steelers were great. Browns were great. The Ravens were great. But I think when it comes to who's going to have the better season, I got to go with the Ravens. I mean, Lamar Jackson alone is enough to make your team a playoff team. And, I mean, he's getting teamed up now. He's got Sammy Watkins, Hollywood Brown, and if Bateman can get healthy, he'll be great. Mark Andrews just got put on that new contract, and I think he's a wonderful tight end. You got Marlon Humphrey in the backfield for your defense. There's nothing wrong with this Ravens team. I think it's Lamar Jackson's time to shine. I think he's going to get better this year. I think he's going to get a little bit trickier this year. All the hate that he gets getting told that he cannot throw and he's just a running back, I think he's ready to prove the league wrong. Similar with Jimmy G. I mean, he's got a lot of things fueling his fire to make a big push. I mean, I for sure could see them not only winning the division, but possibly winning the entire AFC conference. So, yeah, that's what I'm going to go. I'm going to go with the Ravens there.
yeah, that's fair. This division is kind of, I think, very similar to the division we were just talking about, the NFC West. Very competitive. You've got three teams that, I mean, honestly, you have four teams there that could go to the playoffs depending on the Bengals. But for me, it's not going to be the Ravens. I totally agree with you. I think Lamar is going to improve. I think he's going to become, a top 10 passer actually in the league this year. So, but I'm going to pick the Browns. I think they're a more complete team. I think that Baker Mayfield is taking huge strides as a passer, and then the scheme around him as well. The scheme that they built for him is just perfect. Last year they had him moving more. They had him in that play action scheme that really worked for him. So, and then that defense, man, that defense is just getting better and better. I mean, Myles Garrett, and then you have a secondary. They just drafted what was his name? Greg Newsome, I believe it was, out of Northwestern. So I think they're just a more complete football team out of the two, the Ravens and the Browns. So my pick is the Browns.
No, I can definitely see that happening. And like I've said with all of our picks that we don't agree with, I really do think that if my pick is wrong, you're right. I think that the Browns are definitely going to compete for that division. They got their first playoff win last season, and I don't even know how long, and they're still hungry. I mean, they're not going to settle for one playoff win. Baker's not going to settle for one playoff win. I definitely agree. I think we could see that Browns team do really good. But moving on, the AFC South, I feel like a lot of people are considering this a weak division. But I feel like there's some strong teams in there. Alex, who do you think will be winning the AFC South?
Yeah, I'm gonna take the Titans here. I do agree. I think it is considered a weaker division, but there are two teams that could take the division title. But I'm taking the Titans. I think that offense is just ridiculous. I'm a Falcons fan, and that makes me a Julio Jones fan. I love Julio. You added Julio Jones, the best wide receiver of this generation, to that offense with Derrick Henry and AJ Brown. I mean, I don't think anybody's gonna stop that team. Uh, their offense is just nuts. Yeah, I don't see anybody stopping the Titans.
No, I definitely agree. I think when um, you talk about greatest offenses in the league right now, the Titans are definitely in the discussion. But the one thing I agreed the most with out of the thing you said was there are definitely two teams that can fight for this division. Um, I'm gonna go with the Colts. I love this team. I love the Colts. I love watching this team. You have a strong, strong running back core. The O line is absolutely amazing, but that's not even what the highlight of this season is going to be. You got rid of Philip Rivers. You were struggling. What are we going to do for quarterback? You bring in Carson Wentz. You were Carson Wentz, a former. He didn't win it in 2017, but everybody knows he should have won it in 2017. Former MVP. He's got a ring on his finger because of how well he led that offense, how well he led that team. I think there's a lot of sleeping being done on Carson Wentz just because of one bad season. He he's definitely a good quarterback. I think this is a good team. You got Darius Leonard on the defense. I mean, really, like you said, there's two teams competing, and I think people are forgetting that. I think the Colts definitely could steal this division. So I'm going with the Colts.
Yeah, I could totally see that, man. You know how high I was on that trade that the Colts made for Carson Wentz. When it happened, I was a huge supporter of that trade when there was a lot of people doubting it. So yeah, I mean, if it's not going to be the Titans, then it's definitely going to be the Colts. So yeah, I love this division. This division's competitiveness. So I think it's one to watch for sure.
Yeah. Um, God, speaking of divisions, I love. Let's move on to the AFC East. You have such a good division there. I think with a lot of surprises that could happen throughout the season. The Jets starting Zach Wilson, got the Dolphins and Tua Tagovailoa, Will Fuller added to the team. They're definitely looking to turn things around. The Patriots adding a lot of great free agents, and then you got the Bills, who are going to remain great. And with that being said, the Bills are going to win a division. I think there's a lot of people out here looking at this Patriots team and looking at all the pieces they added, and they're like, Bill Belichick has never started a rookie quarterback, and he's doing it with Mac Jones. And he's going to be great. But I think when you talk about the Bills, you talk about one of the most complete teams, not in the division, but the NFL as a whole. I think Josh Allen is a top three quarterback. I love Josh Allen. I think he's an absolute beast. Stephon Diggs is my favorite wide receiver in the league. Love that man. Went crazy in 2017 with that Minneapolis Miracle. I mean, he's an absolute stud. And you got Cole Beasley on that roster too. Like, that's a good man to have as your number two guy. I mean, this Bills team was amazing last year, and I think they're only going to do better. So, without a doubt, yeah, I got the Bills winning the East. Alex?
Yeah, I'm agreeing with you here. I do agree as well that this division is going to be a lot of fun to watch. Um, I'm a huge Zach Wilson fan, so I have high hopes for the Jets. We'll discuss that later. Um, Dolphins, great defense. Offense is a little questionable in my opinion. I'm not huge on Tua, but I think that he could definitely shut me up. I'm looking forward to him doing that actually. And then the Patriots, of course, Bill Belichick. He's just known for causing havoc in that division. But yeah, I think there's no doubt that the Bills are going to take this. Josh Allen, like you said, top three quarterback. I am totally agreeing with you there. That defense, I think, only got better. They added Greg Rousseau in the draft. They needed pass rush. They got pass rush. Secondary's great. And yeah, I think that like most of these my picks have gone, I think this is the most complete team in this division, so I have them taking it.
Yeah, no, for sure. I agree. I really just don't see anybody stopping the Bills, especially in that division. I think they're just going to be An absolute firehouse. So the last division we've discussed all seven. We're coming to the eighth, AFC West. Alex, I'm gonna let you start this last one off.
Yeah, I don't think there's much discussion here. I think yeah, it's gonna be the Chiefs. Pat Mahomes, that offense. There's just it's Patrick Mahomes. Their defense got better too, so that's nice. But it's Patrick Mahomes, and that's really all that needs to be said, honestly.
No, I agree. The only thing that makes this a discussion for me is that Broncos defense, but I don't think it's enough. The main two things that make this a discussion for me is how safe do I feel about that Chiefs O line and Justin Herbert alone. Herbert lost some pieces, but Herbert is an amazing, amazing quarterback. But I have to agree, there's no doubt. You got Patrick Mahomes, you got Tyreek Hill, you got Travis Kelce. I mean, Andy Reid as head coach, the Honey Badger in the backfield. I mean, there's really no reason for this team not to win this division. I mean, I know, I agree. I mean, like you said, Patrick Mahomes alone can just be the answer for why they're going to win this division. There's people that consider this man Hall of Fame talent already. He's special. He for sure, and I really don't see him being stopped anytime soon. So I'm gonna agree with you there. I'm gonna go with the Chiefs. So with that being said, we have picked our winner for every division. Um, so something else we were gonna discuss is our seeding for the playoffs and how it's gonna all finish out. So how we're gonna do this is we're gonna start and talk about each conference. So we're gonna start with the NFC, and I'm gonna start us off. Um, from 1 down to 7. So starting at number 1, I think it's the Bucks. I think you have a team that is just unbelievably great. It's a copy of last year's team plus more. Really and truthfully, I have them going 16-1, but could see them even going 17-0. As wild as that sounds, I think this team's great, and I really don't think that really anybody stopping them. Alex, who do you got at number 1 for the NFC?
One seed, yeah. I'm gonna take the Bucks as well. I think you got the team that won the Super Bowl. They got even better. Uh, I don't see a team in NFC throning them as that one seed. So yeah, it's gonna be the Bucks for me as well.
All right, for the number 2 seed, I'll let you start that one off, Alex.
So I think there's two teams that could take the spot: the Rams or the Packers. I'm gonna pick the Packers. I got a lot of faith in the former MVP or last year's MVP, Aaron Rodgers. Uh, Even though I do think the Rams are gonna be great, and I will discuss their what they'll do in the playoffs later. But yeah, I think Aaron Rodgers will take that 2 seed with the
Yeah,
Packers.
it seems scripted, but so far we have the same seeding. You got Aaron Rodgers as the reigning MVP. I talked about this earlier when it comes to winning the division, but I mean they're not going to put out a low win record and barely squeak out. I mean they're going to drop a good amount of wins. I think, in my opinion, those top 2 seeds are a lock. I don't think it's a toss up. I think it's Bucks and Packers. So yeah, no, I'm gonna agree with you. I'm gonna go. I got the Packers at number 2. So coming in at number 3, I know you're gonna put your NFC West champions there, and as at least that sounded like what you were about to do. And I'm gonna do the same. I got the 49ers coming in at 3. I think really the first 3 seeds, we know what divisions are going to be up there. We know the 4th seed's going to be the NFC East.
Yeah.
I mean, it's no doubt. You have 3 divisions with top tier guys that could go to the Super Bowl, and then you have a division that has to let someone into the playoffs. So yeah, for sure, number 3, Jimmy G. I got the 49ers. What are you thinking?
Yeah, so like you said, it's those 3 divisions. It's gonna be the South, the North, and the West. So my West team was the Rams. They're my 3rd seed. Um, you could interchange them with the Packers, like I said, but yeah, they're taking the third seed easily over the football team. Stafford and that defense, yeah, third seed.
Yeah, no, for sure. And then we have the fourth seed. I don't think it needs to really be too much discussed. It's gonna be both our NFC East teams, Alex with the football team, and me with the Cowboys. I would love to get into the wild card seeds. We got 3 wild card seeds this year, thanks to the new scheduling and new playoff format. I'm loving it, and so I'm gonna talk about my 5th seed. I got the Rams. I think that division's a toss-up, and I think anybody can win it, and I think it's going to be a real close fight with the 49ers and the Rams. I got the 49ers barely edging them out, so I got the Rams the 5th seed. Alex, what are you thinking?
Yeah, so fifth seed, I got your third seed. I got the 49ers. I think they're a really strong team, and I think you make a lot of fair points about them, you know, and a lot of convincing points about them taking the West. But yeah, they're my fifth seed. They would be a fourth seed if the NFC didn't have to let in the NFC East. But yeah, Niners taking the fourth seed. The defense is great. Offense, I think not only Garoppolo is going to be uh, better this year. I think that what I heard was that the Niners are going to do like a 2 quarterback system, so they're going to allow Lance to get in there, and it's just going to be a really fun offense to watch. So yeah, they're my fifth seed.
All right. No, I love how much you talked up the 49ers there. I really do got a lot of high hopes for them. So the 6th seed, I think the 6th and the 7th seed are the most fun ones here. So I'm going to let you talk about your 6th seed.
Okay, so I said the Vikings were in shambles, but I still think they're a good enough team to get into the playoffs and overtake the 7th seed that I have. So yeah, I got the Vikings as my 6th seed. Kirk Cousins, Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen, Dalvin Cook. The offense is very good. The offensive line is not very good, but I think they'll figure it out. The defense, a little depleted after a shaky offseason with a few of their players. But it's good enough to sneak into playoffs. And yeah, I think they'll be a much improved team from last year, despite what I said before.
Yeah, no, I like that. Um, Excuse me, I was taking a little bit because I'm doing a little bit of changing last second again. Um, my 6th seed that I originally had is I'm gonna have them missing the playoffs. I wanted to have a little bit of fun here. So right now my 6th seed is who my 7th seed was. I got the New Orleans Saints. Listen, I talked to you about this when we were talking about the
Yeah.
NFC
Yeah.
South. There's 2 teams fighting for it, in my opinion, but you lose Drew Brees, you do decline. But how much? If Jameis Winston's able to play halfway decent, this team's a playoff team. If Michael Thomas can stay healthy, this team's a playoff team. If Alvin Kamara continues to be Alvin Kamara, this team is a playoff team. I have no doubt in my mind that this team is going to make it. It just, it just, I really, and it really just depends on what seed they're going to make. But I got them in the 6th seed. I know they're making the playoffs. So my 6th seed is going to be New Orleans.
Okay.
So
That.
that brings us to the 7th seed. I'm smiling right now because this is a reach.
Yeah, you
I
started off.
mean, this is a reach off the top shelf, tippy toe, barely grabbing it. You talked about the Vikings. I love that team. I love that Vikings team. I love Justin Jefferson. I love Dalvin Cook. Got the man in fantasy. I'm not picking the Vikings. There's a big name team we're leaving out, and it's the Seahawks. I'm not picking the Seahawks. With my 7th team, I'm going to shock you probably, but I'm going to go with the Carolina Panthers. All right.
Man.
Christian McCaffrey coming back off injury is already huge, and I am such a big DJ Moore fan. I don't know if I've ever expressed this to you, but I love that man. And I'm just hoping, and I'm sitting here thinking, I think Sam Darnold wants that revenge season. I think this NFL season is revenge season for a lot of these players, and I think Sam Darnold is going to make that push to make the playoffs. Um, yeah, I think the Jets really just gave up on him as a player, and that they just wanted a low pick. I really think that Sam Darnold can make a push. The defense isn't bad. Uh, defense is good actually. That's what I would consider it. I think the Panthers can make the playoffs. I got them as my 7th seed. So, what are you thinking for the 7th seed, Alex?
All right, I'm gonna be boring, and I'm just gonna pick the Seahawks. I think they're too good of a roster not to make the playoffs. You're talking about Russell Wilson. You're talking about DK Metcalf. You're talking about Tyler Lockett. You're talking about Chris Carson. I mean, that's a good roster. That's a good offense. Defense, shaky. But Russell Wilson has proved time and time again, year after year, he can carry that team to the playoffs. And maybe they don't win it, but they make the playoffs. So, yeah, I'm going to be boring and just stick with my Seahawks pick.
All right. No, I definitely agree. And that's actually who I originally had at the 6th seed. It was going to go Seahawks Saints, but I sat there and I waited and I was like, if he's going to go Vikings, I want to do something fun too. So I had to put the Panthers in there. I realistically can see it. So let's move on to the AFC. I'm going to let you start this off. Who do you got at the number 1 seed, Alex?
All right, so 1 seed, I think, is pretty easy. For 5th seed, I think I said 1 seed. But it's the AFC North runner-up, the Baltimore Ravens. Lamar Jackson is a fantastic football player. The defense is fantastic. Everything surrounding Lamar Jackson is fantastic. That whole team is great. It is very well balanced. Not as balanced and well-rounded as the Browns, but it's very close. So, yeah, I think it's easy to pick the 5th seed here, being the Ravens.
Yeah, no, I mean, I like that pick, Alex. Who do you got at number 1, though?
What do you?
So we're starting off in the AFC, starting at the number 1 seed. Nah, you're good. I was kind of just letting you sit there and talk, but I could have stopped you.
Right.
So,
I forgot.
who do you got at number 1?
Oh yeah, sorry. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So I got the Chiefs as a number 1 seed. Sorry. Yeah, Patrick Mahomes, like I said before, great offense around him. Defense got even better. I think it's close between the 4 division champions in the AFC, but I think the Chiefs edge it out, and especially being the Super Bowl runner-up last year.
Yeah, I agree there with Alex. I definitely got the Chiefs at my number 1 seed for sure. I mean, like you said, Super Bowl runner-up. 2 years ago, they won a Super Bowl.
Right.
3 years ago, they went to the AFC Championship. They've only been successful under Patrick Mahomes, and there's no reason for that to stop anytime soon. So I'm going to agree with you there. Yeah, no, 100% it's going to be the Chiefs at the number 1 seed. So let's move down to our number 2 seed. I'm going to start this one off. We got a little spoiler alert for Alex's 5th seed, but his 5th seed is actually going to be my number 2 seed. Yeah. I love Lamar Jackson. Ever since I started watching football, I hated the Ravens, and he has some reason made me love the team. I think he's got it in him to go crazy, and put this team in a number 2 seed, maybe even fight for that number 1 seed. But yeah, no, I think this Ravens team is just going to be really strong next season. So I got him at the number 2.
Okay, so for my number 2, I think it's a little bit of a shocker of the 4 teams. I think this is the last team you'd pick. But I'm taking the Titans for the number 2 seed. I'm very, very high on the Titans this year. It's partially because of my bias with Julio Jones going there, but I think that offense is literally going to be unstoppable. I don't see them playing a game where they don't score at least 25 points. So yeah, I think that offense is just a superpower, and I don't see them having a problem taking that number 2 spot in the AFC.
No, I mean I definitely agree. That is definitely a powerhouse of a team. So we can go ahead now and move on to our 3rd seed. we'll just continue what we were doing before, this little pattern system. Alex, who do you got taking the third seed?
Well, I'll take the Bills here. I think they're the second most rounded team in the AFC, but I don't think they'll get. I think that they're in a tougher division than my number 2 seeds, so that's why they are my 3 seed. Josh Allen, like we discussed before, he's a fantastic quarterback, top 3 easily. The defense got even better, and yeah, they got a great coaching staff too. So yeah, 3 seed for the Bills.
Yeah, Alex, I'm going to go ahead and agree with you there. I think the Bills are unlocked for that 3 seed at least. That's where I got them. Similar to what you said, Josh Allen is just a little too good to do any less than that. Stephon Diggs, all-pro receiver. I mean, you got a good team. I can't see them doing any worse than the 3 seed. So for the 4th seed, I believe, Alex, you got the Browns, correct?
Correct.
And I got the Colts. So that's who we got finishing last for our division winners. But we're gonna go ahead and move on to the playoff, the wild card, excuse me.
Yeah.
The 5th seed. So I know you know who Alex's is, so I'm gonna go ahead and talk about mine. My 5th seed, I got the Tennessee Titans. I think it's gonna be a fight between the Colts and the Titans, but I think when it comes down to it, I'm gonna have the Colts and Carson Wentz with all that experience, all that just. I think he's so good, superstar. So I'm gonna have them edging him out, but I think the Titans are just for sure gonna take that 5th seed. There's not much competition in the AFC for the wild card besides them. I think that's on lock. So we can go ahead and move on to the 6th seed because Alex has the Ravens at his 5th seed, and he went on and talked about that. So Alex, who do you got taking the 6th seed?
6th seed is going to be your 4th seed spot, the Colts.
Yeah.
Very, very high on Carson Wentz. Like I said before, that was a great move for the Colts. That offensive line is amazing. They're just gonna power through everybody with that O-line. Big Q leading the way. The defense, a bunch of young guns over there, but man, they looked good last year. They added even more. They added Kwity Paye. I don't see a reason that they can take this 6th spot in the AFC wildcard.
No, I definitely agree. You got a really good team there. That's why I picked them to win the division. For my 6th seed, I got one of your division winners. I got the Cleveland Browns. I think it's a really good team, and they're not going to miss the playoffs. I'm sorry. Definitely a very good team. Offensive powered for sure. Baker Mayfield, Nick Chubb, Jarvis Landry, and Odell Beckham. I mean, you just got to love it. There's not a reason for them to do bad. So that's why I got them at the 6th seed.
Yep.
For my 7th seed, though, so we're going to go ahead and move on to the 7th seed. For my 7th seed, it's hard for me to sleep on the greatest head coach of all time. After he went crazy in free agency, he's trusted Mac Jones, so I'm going to trust in Mac Jones. For my 7th seed, I get the New England Patriots. I think this is a team that definitely can, I say shock the league and make the playoffs, but it seems like everybody's choosing that now. But I think make a late season shock and push in to the playoffs. I love this team. I love the coach. I love Mac Jones. So I'm definitely excited for it. So I got the Patriots taking the 7th seed. Alex?
Yeah, so mine is a big shot out of left field. I like what you said about the Patriots, though. I totally agree. I can totally see it. But my final seed for the AFC is going to be the New York Jets. I am in love with Zach Wilson. I think he alone will take this team to the playoffs. I believe we're going to discuss awards in a little bit, so you'll hear my whole spiel there. But yeah, Zach Wilson, man, he looked fantastic in preseason. During the whole draft process, that is all I talked about. I wanted the Falcons to get him so bad. And they also have a really good new head coach in Robert Saleh. So I think that they put everything together this year. I think that they shock the league and they take that final spot in the playoffs in the AFC, and they make Jets fans happy again.
Yeah, definitely been a while since Jets fans have been happy. So, no, I love that pick. I really love Zach Wilson too. I agree with you. I think he's definitely skilled enough alone to take that team to the playoffs for sure. Okay, so we've discussed our NFC and AFC seeding. So I think it comes down to picking up the championship games is what we want to talk about. So we'll start off with the AFC championship game, and I'll start off with my picks. I'm going to have the number 1 seed Chiefs playing against the number 2 seed Baltimore Ravens. I think that's two teams that are going to be just full of firepower this season. And I mean, it's going to be a wonderful game, I think, with Patrick Mahomes versus Lamar Jackson. I think any Patrick Mahomes versus Lamar Jackson game is going to be great. I believe they do play in the regular season, so that's going to be something to look forward to. But with that being said, if I had to pick a winner there, I've been hyping this man up this entire episode of this podcast. I'm going to go the Baltimore Ravens. They're going to win the AFC, and they're going to go to the Super Bowl. Alex?
All right. Yeah, that I would love to see Lamar go into the Super Bowl, but that is not what is happening in my world. Um, in my world, I got the number 1 seed Chiefs taking on my number 2 seed Titans. I've discussed the Chiefs for Pat Mahomes, and more Pat Mahomes. Super Bowl. They went to the Super Bowl 2 years in a row, but this time they're going to fall just short to the Tennessee Titans. The firepower of that offense is going to lead the Titans to the Super Bowl. And yeah, I think it's going to be Titans taking the AFC. They're going to be your AFC representative.
I love that. I love that so much. Been a huge Titans fan. Watching Derrick Henry, Ryan Tannehill, love those guys. You know, I love Julio. So, yeah, no, I'm a huge fan of that. Would love to see it. We can move on to the NFC now. I'm going to let you start off with your picks, Alex.
All right, so I've been rambling on about these teams. The Rams, hugely improved. Man, Stafford and that offense, and then their defense. You don't even need to discuss it. And then they're taking on the reigning Super Bowl champs, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, with Tom Brady, the all-time great. But in this universe, Tom Brady is going to fall up short, as he did 2 years ago. And the Rams are going to go to the Super Bowl once again with Matthew Stafford at the helm. So it'll be a Titans-Rams Super Bowl.
I love that. I love that. So talking about my NFC championship, for sure, yeah, I got the Buccaneers in there. I told y'all I could seriously see them going 17-0. Looking at their schedule, it's really not that strong. I think this team goes 17-0 and makes the championship for sure. And I think the team they go against is going to be my NFC West representatives. I got the 49ers making it. I think this team's healthy. I think they're ready to go back. I see no reason for them not to. So I got the 49ers and Jimmy Garoppolo, who's been there before, going against his old mentor, Tom Brady, who's only been at a couple times. What is it, 8, 9, 10 times in the Super Bowl? Just a few. So you got two amazing teams, two just unstoppable offenses, in my opinion, great defenses. But when it comes down to it, you have the greatest, not quarterback, but player of all time. And I just don't see him losing in the NFC Championship here with a better team than he had last year. So for the second time in Tom Brady's career, I'm going to have him going completely undefeated to the Super Bowl. So the 17-0 Bucks will be going to the Super Bowl and playing against the Baltimore Ravens.
Very bold, but not really.
I agree. No, it's not as bold as it seems. So, with that being said, we're going to hold off on the Super Bowl predictions. We're actually going to discuss our award winners first, and then we'll bring that up. So, season award winners. I think we can go ahead and we can start off with let's start with Offensive Rookie of the Year. I know you want to talk about it, so I'm going to let you start.
I do.
Who do
I
you
do.
think is Defensive Rookie of the Year?
The man that led his team in my universe to the seventh seed in the playoffs, Zach Wilson, is taking home the Offensive Rookie of the Year. There is no doubt in my mind. I had him locked in as my Offensive Rookie of the Year before the draft even happened. Okay, that is how high I am on this guy. He does everything that you could possibly ask from a quarterback. He can get out of the pocket, make throws that Pat Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers make. He commands his offense. He's a smart football player. He's got a very, very high football IQ, and he's got a great coach behind him now. So I think that there's just so much right here for him in New York. I think it's a way better situation than what Darnold was thrown into. And yeah, I think Zach Wilson takes the Offensive Rookie of the Year easily in a landslide after he leads his team to the playoffs.
No, I love that. And in excuse me, in your universe, I mean, it definitely sounds like the obvious pick. If Zach Wilson could take that Jets team to the playoffs, make Jets fans happy again, as you said, for sure is going to be well deserving of that Offensive Rookie of the Year. For me, I wanted to change things up a bit. I didn't want to pick a quarterback. I wanted to pick a skilled position. And I got the guy that I think is going to be the best skilled position player out of this draft class. I think Kyle Pitts is just unstoppable. I mean, he's got the speed and the agility of a wide receiver, but he's playing tight end. He's the size of a tight end. He's put on that Atlanta Falcons team who, weapons are scarce for Matt Ryan, who is a pass-heavy guy. I mean, man, he's put up so many yards and so many touchdowns, and he's such a good passing QB. He's going to need that guy, and I think Kyle Pitts is going to step up and take that position for sure. I could see Kyle Pitts like fighting for maybe leading the league in receiving yards, not winning it, but definitely being up there. Maybe leading tight ends in receiving yards, but I think he'll be a superstar, some kind of stud. So I got Kyle Pitts as my Offensive Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, I mean, if there was going to be a skill position guy to win the award, it would definitely be Pitts. There's no doubt he's going to be an absolute beast for the Falcons. I'm excited for him.
No, I bet, man. I was sitting there praying that some kind of miracle would happen. He'd fall to the Cowboys. I mean, come on. But let's move on to the other side of the ball, the Defensive Rookie of the Year. I'm gonna start it off. I'm a Cowboys fan. You know this.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't get Kyle Pitts. We got another guy in the first round. A man that was supposed to go a lot higher. I was projected to go a lot higher a month before the draft. I got Micah Parsons. I think that man, he's given his chance on this Cowboys defense who really has no superstars. It would not be hard for him to shine brighter than the rest of that team. I think he's going to be some kind of powerhouse. I mean, he's got that speed to him. I mean, there's a lot of people that say Jalen Smith got slower, but it really seems like it's because Micah Parsons is on that team and he's just significantly faster. Yeah, no, I love the guy. I love the idea of him being Defensive Rookie of the Year. And it definitely would be a good sign towards the future of that Dallas Cowboys defense. So that's who I got picked.
Yeah, I like Parsons a lot. I think he's a run and hit guy, and that's exactly like the guy I'm picking for my Defensive Rookie of the Year. It's going to be the safety at a UCF, Richie Grant. I am very excited to see him play. He's the third round pick for the Atlanta Falcons. From watching him just in the preseason a little bit, he just really impressed me, man. He's got a lot of football IQ. He makes all sorts of plays that you wouldn't expect him to make. He's a run and hit guy, like I said. He runs at you. He's not afraid to hit you, and he actually looked really, really solid in coverage as well. And in a DNP system, this safety position is going to be very crucial, and I think that he'll be that chess piece for DNPs this year for the Falcons. So I'm very excited to see him. I think he'll be this year's Jeremy Chin of the class. So, yeah, I got Richie Grant.
No, I definitely would love to see a mid-round pick somehow shine, and I'm going to believe you when you say he looks like he's going to be something special. So, yeah, I would love to see that. So now we can move on to, I guess, offensive player of the year would be good. So not just the rookie position, but any player can be picked. Yeah, and I'll let you start this one off. Who is your offensive player of the year?
So I discussed the Titans a lot, and I discussed that offense a lot, and I think that there's so many good pieces on that team, and I think that with all those good pieces, all the and Julio being added, that's a big reason I'm picking this guy. I think AJ Brown will take the offensive player of the year. Uh, he's he's gonna be that team's number one slash number two. I don't know how they're gonna really use the two of them, but you're clearing up a lot for him with Julio. Obviously, Julio demands a lot of attention from defenses. And then you have the other guy, the big beast in the backfield, Derrick Henry, commanding a lot from the defenses. So I think A.J. Brown will just be flying around the football field. He's going to be catching all sorts of passes from Ryan Tannehill. We know how good they are in that play action scheme. Yeah, I think A.J. Brown is a guy that will sneak into this offensive player of the year conversation, and I think he'll take it home.
Yeah, no, I can definitely see that. Good receiver on a firepower offense. But for me, I decided to go with a different position. I like the running back position for this year. And specifically, I love Nick Chubb. Towards the end of last year, really, when he was like able to play, he was going insane. I think with an extra game on this season, you're going to see Nick Chubb absolutely terrorize NFL defenses. I really and truthfully think that there's not going to be much able to like stop this man. I like him a lot. That's why I got him offensive player of the year. Yeah, no, I think he'll be the best running back next season.
Like that pick. I think that they're
So,
got even better too. So,
yeah, no, for sure.
yeah.
All right. Moving on to the defensive player of the year. I'm going to start this one off. So, man, I didn't pick this team to win the division, but I picked this team to win a lot of awards for my defensive player of the year. I'm going to go Myles Garrett. I think you got a scary man in the backfield. I mean, not backfield, excuse me, a scary man on the defensive line. And I don't think there's many NFL teams that want to go up against him. I mean, the only man I consider scarier than Myles Garrett is Aaron Donald. I think he's ready to have some kind of crazy turnaround season. And I really think that 17th game is going to play a factor in a lot for a lot of these players. I think he could definitely be a guy that could break an NFL sack record. Will it happen? I don't expect it to, but I think he could lead the league in sacks for sure and take that award. Myles Garrett is just a very, very scary guy.
Yeah, I could definitely see that happening for sure. He's in that same conversation as Aaron Donald. So, yeah, I love that pick. But for me, this is another real. I mean, all of my award picks are pretty. They're reaches, but I'm gonna take Carlton Davis, the defensive back from Tampa Bay. Um, Man, I think he's locked down. He proved that in the playoffs. He proved that throughout the regular season. He's got a lot of fire in him. He's not afraid to talk trash to you. He's kind of like Jalen Ramsey, but he's even bigger than Jalen Ramsey. And in that defensive scheme with Tampa, I think he'll dominate next year. He's gonna put up some type of crazy passing completion percentage numbers, against opposing quarterbacks. I think he'll get into that Xavier Howard range of interceptions, and I think we'll see a crazy season from Carlton Davis. I think that defense is ready to back him and maybe get him the award.
No, I love that pick. I think it's a very, very good choice there, Alex. So, moving on, we got the comeback player of the year. I believe I started on the defensive player of the year, so I'm going to let you start here. Alex, who is your comeback player of the year?
Yeah, so for my comeback player of the year, it's going to be Joey Burrow. His season ended short. It ended short last year, obviously, with the ACL tear. Man, but he was having a really good season. He probably would have won that Rookie of the Year award. He made Cincinnati look like a relevant football team last year. and I don't see that changing this year. I don't think he'll be any worse. I think he'll be even better. He had a whole offseason to improve, to learn, and you know I don't think that the injury is gonna cause any sort of regression in him. I think it'll just get him even better. I think he's even more fired up than he was last year to play in the NFL. So I think he's got a lot to prove with that Cincinnati team, and we'll see a big year from Joey Burrow.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. I love Joe Burrow. I love that pick, and I would love to see him turn things around. For comeback play of the year, I'm a big Cowboys fan. You got Dak in that conversation, but really, based off my picks, I can't go Dak. I think you got a man that was benched for a rookie last year and traded for barely anything. Carson Wentz. I mean, I think that man deserves it more than anything. If he's able to do what I think he can do, which is lead this team to the playoffs and only go to the playoffs, but win the division, there's no doubt in my mind that this man should be the comeback player of the year. I think Carson Wentz he's a former MVP. It's not something I think, it's something I know. He should have been that MVP. Carson Wentz is an amazing player, and if he can just fit into this system, that Colts team is going to soar under him, and he should have that award on lock.
Yeah, I mean that's definitely a really really fair pick. I love Carson Wentz for that award. I told you earlier, if he didn't break his foot, I would have probably picked him for that MVP award, and so that would have obviously been my comeback player of the year award. So yeah, I love Carson. I think that he's going to be great this year, and I think he's definitely in that top spot for comeback player of the year award as well.
Yep. All right, for coach of the year. I'm gonna start this one off. So I like the Rams a lot. I'm a big fan of the Rams. I don't got them winning the division, but I am a big fan of the Rams. I think Sean McVay is going to have a very good season. Even though he's going to not win the division, I think he's going to still put up a great record with a great team, turn things around, and I love that for him. I think this man could easily win Coach of the Year. There's not really much dragging him down, so I got Sean McVay.
Oh yeah, so I've got another. I said I would discuss this later on. Robert Saleh, in that New York Jets team. I think if you have Zach Wilson and you have Robert Saleh, and they lead you to that playoff spot, I think there's no doubt that he'll win that Coach of the Year. Um, Man, I'm super excited. I'm super pumped for Saleh this year. I think he's got a really nice team around him. I think he's done a great job this offseason. I think he's got a real command of that whole team. Uh, and if my universe comes true, my predictions of my universe come true, then I don't see why he could not win the Coach of the Year. I think it's set up perfectly. So yeah, I got Robert Saleh.
Right, no, I like that pick, and in your universe, there's no doubt. Just like the Zach Wilson pick, I mean, you can't not pick him for Coach of the Year if they do make the playoffs. So here we go, the big award, the one that every single player out there wants to win, besides the Super Bowl. The MVP, Alex. I'm gonna let you start this one off.
All right. So despite my Super Bowl picks, my MVP is not in the Super Bowl. Uh, it is Josh Allen, the quarterback for the Buffalo Bills. I think he'll be electric this year. I think the Bills will be even better this year. I think he's gonna put up stats even better than last year. I mean, last year he was his breakout. This year he's gonna be, I think, 10 times better. I think he'll lock himself in to that top 3 quarterback spot. And yeah, I like Josh Allen for the MVP this year. I think he's going to be a lot of fun to watch this year.
No, I love Josh Allen for MVP, and he'd definitely be one of my top 3 choices. Obviously, this is so when we did discuss everything before the podcast, this was the only thing we didn't discuss, which was our MVP picks, because we wanted to keep that secret even to each other. I think when it comes to MVP, it's a very hard award, and I think anybody can win it. I think it's really expected to see a guy like Patrick Mahomes or Lamar Jackson or Josh Allen to win this award, maybe even Matthew Stafford. I mean, you got guys that just seem like clear shot MVPs. But I think there's a guy sitting in the shadows. I really, really cannot sleep on this old man. When I say old man, you know what I'm talking about. Tom Brady is
Oh,
going to be my MVP. Listen, you have a team that I'm already saying is going to go 16-1 or 17-0. So that alone, Tom Brady being the leader of that team, not that alone could win it. But not only that, Tom Brady has a 17th game. Tom Brady has an amazing offense. Not only am I going to have Tom Brady winning the MVP, I'm going to have Tom Brady either breaking or breaking both the passing yard and passing touchdown record for a season. And I mean, I can't see it not happening. I'm a big, big fan of Tom Brady for this season. I've been a big fan of Tom Brady for a good bit. I love the man. I know he's the GOAT. I I think I feel like I heard you laughing a little, but I really think that Tom Brady can definitely fight for it with these young guys.
that might just make me quit watching NFL if I see Tom Brady win another MVP. But yeah, I could
Oh,
definitely see it. Yeah, Tom Brady's got an extra game. He's proved that he could stay healthy for a 16-game season until how old is he now?
he's 43, 44, around there,
Yeah,
42.
the guy's proved
Old.
to stay healthy and stay in shape and just continue to prove everybody wrong. So yeah, I mean, it would not surprise me if he ended up winning the MVP in the new 17-game season.
Yeah. No, I love Tom Brady. Love that pick. Love your pick. So that's our awards. So it comes down to this, the big game, the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I said my MVP pick last. I let that be my little build up. So I'm gonna let your build up be for the Super Bowl. So I'm gonna start with my pick for the Super Bowl. So I told y'all the Ravens and the Bucks. I told you the Bucks are 17-0. I told you Tom Brady is a MVP. The only thing Tom Brady has not done in his career is go undefeated and win a Super Bowl. He lost to the Giants. Tom Brady doesn't want to do that again. And really, honestly, it's hard to pick Tom Brady to not win back to back with this team. But as hard as it is, I love Lamar Jackson for this next season. I love this Ravens team for this next season. So my Super Bowl 56 is it winners are the Baltimore Ravens. I'm going to have them besting Tom Brady. Tom Brady is going to have his second undefeated season crushed in the Super Bowl. And he'll just have to sleep with that MVP trophy, knowing that he will not be an 8-time Super Bowl champion. I think he can live with one less. I got Lamar Jackson winning Super Bowl MVP, no doubt. And yeah, no, Baltimore Ravens Super Bowl champions. That's my pick.
Wow. Yeah, I love that, man. That is yeah, that would make me really happy if all this went right for Tom Brady and then he lost in the Super Bowl. That that would be great. So for my Super Bowl, I had the final two teams being the Titans and the Rams, and I went on and on about how I love the Titans with that firepower on the offense, and the Rams. I mean, they've just got a complete team, a fully balanced team, and you got Stafford now, and so now that team is legit. It's even better than it was when they went to the Super Bowl. What 3 years ago now, or something like that.
Yeah, back in
Uh,
51, 53.
despite despite adding Stafford, despite that team being so well balanced, so well rounded, I'm gonna have your Super Bowl champions being the Tennessee Titans. Um, I'm in love with the offense, and I'm a big believer in what that newly assembled receiving core will be able to do. with Derrick Henry in that backfield. Julio Jones has never really had a that dominant of a running back in his backfield. So you're combining the best receiver of this generation with the best running back currently. I mean, and you have, obviously you have AJ Brown, my offensive player of the year. So and you have Tannehill leading the way, who's become a an absolute unit for that Titans team. I mean, he's been a leader for that team. So yeah, I got the Titans, man. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it. I've been feeling it since they traded for Julio. So yeah, I got the Titans.
Nah, I love the pick. I love the pick. And when you put the Rams and the Titans in the Super Bowl, my pick for your Super Bowl would have been the Titans. I completely agree. I think when you put Matthew Stafford under all that pressure, I think at some point the cookie crumbles. I love Stafford, but I agree. I don't see him beating a Titans team in the Super Bowl. So yeah, no, I love your pick for Super Bowl. Would love to see that. Would love to see Julio get a ring. Think it'd be a nice little Cinderella story for him. So with that, that's about it. That's all we're going to talk about today. The goal would be to put out an episode on Sunday morning with our picks for each game this coming week, as the NFL season will be starting. If you enjoyed this, I would appreciate if you'd like and subscribe. The goal is to put this on Apple Podcasts. So if you're listening from there, hey, that's amazing. I'm happy to see I was able to do that. And then the goal is to set up an Instagram account very shortly. So yeah, I mean, there's more things to come. This is only the first episode. This was discussed a week ago, and we're ready to build. I know this is my dream for my career. I can't say the same about Alex. I don't know if this is what he wants to pursue, but I know we both want to do this, and I know we're excited to do this. So yeah, no, Alex, you got any final words?
No, man, I'm super happy that we finally got this going, and I'm glad we got to record our first episode, and I'm super excited for the NFL season to start. It's been so long. We've been waiting so long for the season to start, and it's gonna be. I mean, I'm really pumped, man. I'm really pumped.
Yeah,
So,
man, 100% ready. See my Cowboys go 16-0, and your Falcons go 0-16.
yeah.
Oh, excuse me, 0-17.
0-7.
Uh, no, for sure. I appreciate you guys for listening. If you are, please tune into the Sunday one that we plan on doing, and every other one, because I mean, this is the best football podcast. This is always football. I'm Cameron, and I'm here with my host Alex, and we will be signing off. Thank you for watching.